In this video, we'll talk about the iOS image located in the flash memory. We will do this from our production router, which will be used for the next few videos. First, let's do a show version to view the iOS that we're running along with the file system. So here you'll see the version that we're running, which is 12.4.22YB, and the feature set is the Advanced IP Services here. Now right below here, you're going to see the actual iOS file name that is used for this version that we're running, and that it is located in the flash memory. We can view this iOS file name located within the flash file system. We do that by simply typing in the command show flash. And many files are shown here. We have XML files, we got .raw files, and of course we have our iOS image file. So keep in mind that it's not just the actual iOS image that is located in the flash. Like here's our iOS image here, but there could be other files here. With the many files that are listed here, we can filter to only include the iOS image that we're looking for. So to do that, let's first go back and do a show version. Let's copy the iOS file name that is located in the flash file system. And now with that, we're going to type in show flash, followed by pipe, I for include, then the actual file name. This means it's going to basically filter and display anything that includes that text that we just typed in. And there it is. So instead of the multiple lines of text, we now have the single line that shows the iOS image located in the flash memory. Also under the flash file system, we can view the amount of flash memory that is used and available to us. And that information is located at the very bottom of this command. So here will tell us the amount of available memory that we have and of course what has been used. So this is very good. So if you're uploading a new file, like a new iOS image, it's good to look at how much we have available before we can upload a new iOS image. In this video, we will show you how to copy an iOS image from the flash to a TFTP server. This is the TFTP program that we're running on our computer. It could be any program, including one by SolarWinds. We're using something called 3CDaemon that has capabilities of doing TFTP, FTP, syslog, and even act as a TFTP client. So our TFTP server is now running or is listening on the IPs that are configured on our computer. The next thing that is important is the TFTP root folder where all files will be copied to. So that's under the settings for that program. So here they'll be listed under upload and download directory. We can specify the folder that will be the root folder in our case. And that will be some folder on our desktop called TFTP root. And here's what it looks like. Right now it is an empty folder because we have not yet done any copies, but that will soon change. So at this time, let's go ahead and move this aside. Let's close this up. And again, our TFTP server is running. It is started. Well, if we want to stop it or start it, this is where we'll go to do that. And once again, it is listening on the IPs that are configured on our computer, which will be 10.67.78.3. That will be the IP we'll use for basically copying our iOS image to our TFTP server. So let's go ahead and move this aside. Now, before we do a copy, we need to get the full iOS file name that will be copied. We can get that from doing a show version or doing a show flash, but let's do a show version, which is quicker. Here, let's go ahead and copy this iOS file name located in the flash file system. Let's start the process for now copying our iOS image to our TFTP server. So when we type in the command copy, we first need to select a source file system. Now if you don't know, and we talked about this during the presentation, you can do a question mark where we can view what we can input for the potential source. So in our case, our source would be the flash. So we will type in flash after copy. Let's do that now. Oops, let's do that again. Copy space flash, which would be the source. Then followed by the iOS file name. that we copied from doing a show version. Then we select the destination file system, which would be our TFTP server. So we will select TFTP. Once we define our source and our destination, we can go ahead and press enter. Now a few questions will be asked. The first question will be, what is the address or the name of the remote host? This would be the IP of our TFTP server. It would be one of the IPs that are listening that we showed you from the application. And one of those IPs is 10.67.78.3. Next, we need to define the destination file name. Now, by default, it's going to use the file name that we selected that will be copied to the destination. So we're going to keep it using this name. So we're going to press enter. So now it's in the process of copying the iOS to our TFTP server, which we see here in the application as well. So at this time, we're going to wait until the process completes. And now the iOS image copy has completed successfully. You see basically the amount of bytes it took and how long it took to copy it to our TFTP server. And of course, looking at our program, the copy also completes as well. It stops incrementing. So it's completed. So looking at our TFTP root folder now, we now see the iOS image located. So now let's move this aside, and in this video we're going to show you how you can copy the running config from the DRAM to the TFTP server. Now using the same command structure, we will copy our running config to our TFTP server. Next we will define the IP of our TFTP server and the file name for our config, which by default will be the hostname -config. So we'll leave that alone and press enter to copy, which will be pretty quick. So now the copy completed pretty quick. We see the number of bytes and it took 1.6 seconds. So now going back to our root folder, we can now see that config file listed. So this is basically how you can copy files between different file systems, whether it is the iOS image or maybe a config file.